In a previous video, I showed you how to create an outsourced bill of material. In this video, we're going to walk through the workflow process of creating an outsourced purchase order. You could also call it an outsourced work order or an outsourced bill of material on the purchase order screen. So we'll create it and then we'll ship it off to the vendor and let the vendor manufacture it and then bring it back in. So what we're going to do is send 2 sleeves of a shirt, or a bunch of sleeves, like 100 of each sleeve, about 100 torsos, but the vendor is going to supply the collar and the sewing service. So we got the sleeves and the torso pre-cut. We're going to ship it out to them. We either cut it internally or purchased it. This video is going to go over the process of us sending what we already have, so we can see the transfer order feature. So before this will work, there's a little bit of setup required. You've got to create the inventory type parts, the parts that you consume, and the parts that you make. So I needed to create a part for a sleeve. It's a blue cotton sleeve. I needed to create a part for the torso. I needed to create a service type part for the sewing, and I needed to create the part that the vendor supplied, the collar of the shirt. So I previously created those parts, and then you have to create the bill of material. That's what I did in the previous video. So be sure to watch that to see how to create a outsourced bill of material where you assign the purchase supply types on the bill of material, whether the vendor supplies the part or we supply the part. Of course, we need to create a vendor, and we need to create a vendor site. Let me show you the vendor site. So a site is just like a warehouse, right? It's a building with an address. Currently, my name is defaulted to log in to the main warehouse. If I click this, change the site that I'm looking at and logged into, and see everything in a different site that I have rights to. Now, a vendor site is unique. If we go to Setup Sites and then click in this search pane, you'll see there's different types of sites we can create. So I previously created a vendor type site. Scroll down here, and I called the site Tailor or Tailor Manufacturing. I created a vendor called Tailor Manufacturing also. If we go to this Tailor Manufacturing site, you see I have the address for the Tailor Manufacturing site. You have to have that address on the site in order for the transfer order to pick up that address. So the address needs to be on the vendor screen and on the site screen. But probably the most important part, you need to assign the vendor to the site. So we've got this link to the vendor. It's connected. If I click on New Site, select Vendor, this little field changed to Vendor, and that's when I assign the vendor, right when I was just creating the site. So that's important to have that vendor assigned to it. Okay, so we got the setup, we've got our plan. Let's go execute the plan and create an outsourced work order. So we're going to go to the purchasing screen, click and click and click to create a new purchase order. And of course, we're going to choose our vendor. I named the vendor Tailor Manufacturing. It's a good name for someone who's going to be sewing some shirts for us. And notice the ship to address says Maine. That means when they're done sewing the shirt, they're going to ship it there. And this is their address. That's where in the purchase order to. Of course, we're probably just going to email it. But let's click Save. And then notice by default, the system is thinking we want to just add parts and purchase. But divert your attention over here, line type purchase, change that to BOM outsource. Sweet! There's the feature right there, BOM outsource. So now we can select from our list of bills of material. In the previous video, I created a bill of material for blue long sleeve crew cut, crew collar shirt. And we're going to have them sew, I don't know how many of these should we have them sew, 100, and click Add Item. I'm going to move my mug up here out of the way because a lot of interesting stuff is going on down here in the bottom right hand corner. We'll see here that the type is BOM outsource. In the part number field is the BOM number, the quantity of the BOMs, but now we've got this plus symbol. That's not usually there. When we click on that, explode and show us the entire bill of material. Now this is where it all starts to come together after we created our bill of material correctly. So notice it says vendor supplied input blue cotton collar cut piece. So the vendor is going to supply that part, and that's an inventory type part, and they charge us 25 cents per collar. This next one, company supplied part, so we're going to ship this to them, the torso piece that we previously cut. And also if we come up here, we'll see company supplied input. We're going to supply the sleeve cotton. All makes sense. Over here there's no price because we're not purchasing that, we're sending those. But the ones that we are purchasing from the vendor, there is a price. Here is the sewing service that I previously set up. This is a service type part. And these guys are charging us a piece rate, so $1.75 to sew one shirt. And then finally we have the output item. That's what they're going to ship back to us when they're done. We can edit the cost by clicking edit right here. We'll move this up here, and so we can edit the cost. Yeah, so we're not completely locked in. Click on explode there again. Still have a lot of our normal options, and we'll come up here to the top right hand corner, change the status to issued. So now once it's issued, we have some new actions here. Look at this. Copy to transfer order. That's a cool feature right there. So we'll click copy to transfer order. Transfer outsourced inputs only. Yep, default, yep, we'll do that. And it created a new transfer order for us and immediately brought us to the transfer order. Last minute edits. So look at what we're sending to the vendor. The blue long sleeve cotton piece, the cotton torso. We don't have to manually create the transfer order. Really, there's not a whole lot we have to do here at all, except for issue the transfer order. It says we're short on that inventory, so we can either go cut those pieces or purchase those pieces. We can still issue the transfer order if our inventory has insufficient quantity. I'm going to go cut these sleeves and these torsos. I'll be right back. Okay, the sleeves and torsos are all cut. Now we need to fulfill the transfer order or allow operations to fulfill the transfer order in the natural sequence of things. So the transfer order will show up in the picking screen, and operations will see that transfer order. You'll see the transfer order appears on the picking screen right here, transfer order number 15, and it shows up with a green checkbox available to pick. So operations would now pick this along with everything else they're picking. We'll click create pick, go to pick, and now the pick is created. They'll record the pick there, or they can log into locate warehouse here, right there, and go to picking and pick this transfer order from the mobile device. Pick, I'm just going to skip through this quickly here. Pick and finish the pick. Now we'll see you back on the picking screen. The transfer order is picked. Next step is to pack. This can be done on the mobile device as well. Go to packing and new pack. Here's our transfer order to pack. We'll select pack. Probably will be in 3 boxes. We'll pack that item in that box. Create a new carton. Pack 100 items in the next box. Let's do one more box, one more carton. You'll see down below it says box number 3, and we'll pack this one in box number 3, and all packed up, ready to go. At this point, if there was a carrier previously assigned to the transfer order, it'll show up in the pickup screen. I forgot to assign a carrier on this transfer order, so it'll show up in the shipping screen. Normally this would just automatically be shipped out using ShipStation or whatever carrier you use at this point. So we're going to go to the shipping screen, and here we are in the shipping screen. There's our transfer order to be shipped to the vendor, and we'll create shipment, go to shipment, and finish shipment. Here on the shipment you see generic box 1 and the quantity right here. If I scroll down, we'll see what's in the second carton and the quantity in that carton. Keep scrolling. we see what's in that carton. If we go to the part and take a look at inventory here for one of the parts in the carton, we'll see that it's advanced to the pickup location. So it's now ready to be picked up by the carrier. So we can go to pickup and see each box that is in the pickup area. You'll see each box from the transfer order with the destination assigned to it. So let's record that the carrier has picked these up. We'll check the boxes and click pick up 3 lines. And in locate mobile, there's also a pickup. We could have done it here on this screen as well on locate mobile. So now that they're picked up, if we refresh this part, we'll see now that this part shows that it's in transit to the Taylor site, and it shows up as committed, so it's not available to pick because it's on a truck on the way to the vendor site. We just go to the transfer order. On the transfer order screen, over under actions, we just click receive vendor transfer order. Click receive all items in full or open a partial receipt. I guess there's a chance they may not have received anything, but usually they're going to receive it in full. So we click receive in full. Over here on the right, we see that the transfer order shows complete. And if we click on our part number and take a look at inventory on the part number screen here, we'll see it's no longer in transit and it appears at Taylor Manufacturing. Now if we go back to the purchase order, remember it says BOM Outsource on the line with this little wrench here. Click on the wrench, it'll give us a link to the work order. It's nice to see that there is a work order representing this activity. Go back to the PO and we have this action here, confirm vendor receipt. We get a good pop-up with some good information there. Click continue and we're confirming that the vendor received it. If we click on the link to the work order, it shows that the work order is complete. So confirm vendor receipt is the same thing as complete work order. Once the work order shows completed at the vendor site, it's ready to be received back into stock. So when the vendor ships it to us, we can then come here and receive it, or the PO 61 will now appear on the inbound inventory screen and we can receive this like usual. So go to the right, click receipt, and since they sewed the shirt together for us, body and sleeves, collar, and everything that's included, now we're receiving the finished good. We shipped them the sleeves and torso. They sewed on the collar and sewed everything together and are now shipping us back a finished shirt. So we'll receive that and finish the receipt just like we would any other PO. The only difference is it is a finished good that we're receiving instead of the raw goods. And that completes the circle. We created a PO with an outsourced bill of material. We created a transfer order from that PO and sent them the goods that they needed to complete that. So we shipped that transfer to them and received that transfer order to them and recorded that they completed the work order. Then we received the finished good back into stock. One big, beautiful circle. Comment below if you have any questions or recommendation for another video. Subscribe to see more tutorial videos like this. Click like if this was helpful.